Hey, what's up, guys? It's T-Bone here, and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So, it's now officially the first day of the event, the Divinity of Champions. And what I want to do in today's episode is talk about a few of the decks I've come up with and try to fight, bosses with them. I'm also going to give a quick update on the cards I was able to pull in the packs this event. Now, you'll notice I only have 250 gems. I used up all the gems I earned from the previous event, and I was able to get a full team. So I went up to tier 5 for this particular deck. I got 6 runes total, 3 from the pack and 3 from the collections, and I was able to get no duplicates, right? But that is something that hardly ever happens, because you can see here, after I collected a hero and then I went and collected more runes from the collections, this is actually what happened. So this is unfortunate, because I was hoping to get a second one, but it doesn't look like the case. So I was also able to get the ultra rare card by tier 3 here. And so because of that, I was able to, field the full team here without actually spending anything. So I'm glad to be able to do that, because now I can show you the decks. So some of the decks here. So the first one is what I would use as the full team here. That has 2 support cards and raw, as well as the Master Collection card and an ultra rare. I don't have any of the Fire God relics just yet, so I'm using 4 of the previous ones and my raised staff. Another card that is also really good to have here is Flamma, who actually will create Power Gem 4s passively, as long as there's power gems on the board. And so he also boosts fire warrior heroes. And so in some cases, I feel like this is actually even better than having another support card. So we'll test that out. And then I have a chromatic boss I'm going to show you. There's an interesting thing that I'm going to show you. I'm not going to tell you right now, but the goal here is to test out the rainbow deck strategy. But we'll talk about this particular setup once we get there. And then finally, we have a budget deck here using 3 of the support cards and raw. I think this is generally a pretty good setup when you can use 3 support cards that do gen spawns. And then for the 5th card, I brought in Thula, but you can also bring in Nusku. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead and swap Thula out, because not everybody will probably have Thula at this point, but you might get Nusku from the collections. So let's talk about how that would work. Now, because I don't actually have a Fire Dragon relic, I'm going to then instead bring in my Ray Staff. But for you, you can try bringing other relics here. So let's go ahead and do a boss fight using the base deck first. So let's go ahead and do a base deck fight, and let's go ahead and do a battle. So the way to play this particular type of deck, you saw the mechanics from the last episode. What you want to do is in playing the support cards, you want to sort of bank your ability. So the way this kind of cards work is you don't want to activate their power battle skills all across the board. Instead, what you want to do is you want to activate the support cards first, and then Ra's skill. And you notice what happened here is I was able to get multiple gems created here, and now I'm going to activate these, and you can see these icons appear above these cards. Now these cards will create gems as well when you attack. And so let's see what happens when you attack here. You're going to get a full board full of gems. I'm going to activate Nusku, and I'm going to activate Ra to get the power gems there, and then let's go ahead and do a power gem swap. And you can see now, after everything has completed, Nusku's skill comes in handy here and gives me additional fire gem drop rate. In this case, he's not a 6-star, so it's not greatly increased, but you can see that I was able to get a bunch of gems dropped there. And so for a total of using 1 key, 169 million damage. So that's not bad. Okay, that's not bad using this deck at all. And then what I want to do now is go up against the legend bosses using the full versions of the team. And I'm going to try this one first. Or actually, let's go ahead and use this team first. So the goal here is also not just to get enough damage to defeat the legend boss, really you want to take advantage of the keys here, and you want to deal enough damage to get overkill. So the goal here is 100% overkill, and the way we're going to do this is we're going to try to raise our intensity as high as possible. And so we want to keep our intensity count up. We have enough health to do this right now, so I'm going to just do some swaps here, and at the same time try to build up my power gem 4s. So as my intensity goes up, I'm going to be able to do more damage, and now I have to do this anyways. But the goal here is, as you go, every 100 intensity you get, you're going to be able to pass on the passive skills of both of your ultra rare and also your support cards to other cards as well, and so that's going to be important. And then the way you activate things is still in the same order. And you notice I have my my ultra rare card as well as my support cards together, because that's the order that you would activate them in. And so I think what I can do is, I have enough time. I'm just going to go ahead and wait until I get to 300 intensity here. I want to make sure that I don't make any mistakes here. And really, if you go up to intensity 400, you're going to guarantee that every single card will generate a power gem 4 as well as fire gems. And now I'm going to go ahead and activate raw and activate our master collection card here, and I'm going to do a power gem swap. Now let's see how much damage we're able to deal against a neutral legend boss. So looks like I'm able to deal close to 20 with that particular setup. I did get 100% overkill, and that was 21 billion. So I was hoping for a little bit more, and I think this is really where, if I had a third raw, that would have really made a big difference, or a second raw, I mean. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this deck too. So let's see if this makes any difference. Well, I'm also going up against a earth boss, so my damage is going to be doubled, but we can just divide that by 2 and then sort of see the damage differential. Okay, and so let's go ahead and do this. And now the thing with Flama is he will passively create power gems as long as there's a power gem on the board. So it's a really useful passive skill. And so by waiting, and if I can just manage to not match any fire gems right now, I can also avoid my I can avoid having additional gems being created that will cause me to lose my power gem. And so we're 125 intensity right now. Can I wait until the goal should be the same? I want to try and go up to approximately 300 or 400 intensity. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so I'm getting more and more power gem build up right now. 175. I might have to just do. Oh, I gotta. Okay, that's okay, because that power gem isn't. Did I get hit by something there? All right. Let's go ahead and try this out, and then let's see how much damage we're going to be able to make. I don't have a full board of gems here, but let's see. Hopefully we can deal sufficient damage here. That gem silence sort of cost me there. We also got 100% overkill, and this one was 26 billion. So yeah, I think I could have done a lot better with that team. I think that team could have done a lot better. So anyways, let's go and talk about the final boss there, and that is a chromatic boss. So let's do a chromatic boss. So chromatic bosses, the keys are going to start dropping once you hit your solo boss 151. But the chromatic bosses will start at level 1, and you notice that it's actually not a earth boss, it's actually a light boss here. Because of that, the main MVP here is going to be Mondo Nighthill, because he's a dark card, and I want to be able to deal dark damage against the boss. And for my leader, I'm bringing in Maledictive Flemen, because he provides 200% damage for all attacker heroes. Now, remember that leader skills that provide damage boost doesn't actually change your output for nuke damage, right? So Mondo Nihil's battle skill for the nuke isn't going to be increased because of the battle skill, but what will be increased is his gem matching skill from the power gem matches or just regular gem matches. So because I'm using Amy to create a rainbow, power gems, by matching the dark gems, I'm hoping to be able to deal enough damage using Mondo. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just go ahead and nuke him down. And so let's go ahead and use 3 keys and do a fight here. And because I'm trying to use Amy's skill, I'm bringing in enough light relics to power her skill. At the same time, I fill up the rest of the board using dark relics so that I could actually also activate Mondo Nihil's ability should I need to. And it looks like I'm gonna have to match the light gem again. I also brought in some healers there just to give me additional if you wanted to bring in healer, and what you can do is well, let's just do that, right? So you can get additional boost in your damage. Now let's go ahead and activate Amy's skill. I want you to pay attention to something. There's actually a commander gem, the blue one there with the 4. Notice that it didn't actually get converted, and so it looks like the issue here is if there is a commander gem that is in the spot where Amy would or Daniil would typically convert the power gem, it will not overwrite it. Instead, it would just not create a power gem in that space. So that's something to pay attention to. This is not something you encounter in Slayers, but you get commander gems in commander events all the time. So this is an area where I kind of want to make sure that I check to see if that's intended or not. But this is what's happening right now. That's how it actually behaves. So just be mindful if you are planning to use Amy or Daniil. Pay attention to the left columns because that's where they default will always generate the power gems. And so if you have a commander gem there, just make sure you move it out of the way. So that's all for this particular episode. I wanted to show some of the decks here. I wanted to talk about Chromatic here. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. And as always, please give me any feedback, any thoughts on what decks you're running, and if there's anything we can explore with this particular deck. So that's all for this episode. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you next time. Take care.